The girl in the trash. It was raining. Heavy drops fell from the dark sky as the wind howled through the broken streets. Tom, a middle-aged man with tired eyes and an old brown coat, walked slowly through the scrapyard. It was late at night and he was used to silence. This was his life, collecting metal, selling junk, and living alone. But tonight was not normal. As he moved past a pile of rusted metal, he heard something. Not a rat, not the wind. It was a sound soft, almost like a cry. He stopped. His eyes narrowed. He moved closer, pushing old wires and broken pipes aside. Then he saw her, a girl, maybe 15 or 16 years old, lying in the trash. Her skin was pale, almost glowing in the dark. Her hair was silver, wet and stuck to her face. Her clothes were torn and strange, not like anything Tom had ever seen. And her eyes opened slowly, glowing a soft purple. Tom took a step back in shock. For a second, he thought he was dreaming. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, his voice shaking. The girl didn't answer. She looked at him, afraid. Her body was shivering. Her lips blue from the cold. Tom looked around. There was no one, no cars, no people, just him and the girl. He sighed. "Come on," he said, removing his coat. "You'll freeze out here." He wrapped the coat around her and picked her up gently. She was light, too light, like a feather. Her body was warm, almost like she had a small fire inside her. Tom took her home. His house was small. Old wooden floors, flickering lights, and shelves full of old machines and books. He placed her on the couch and lit the fireplace. She stared at him without blinking. "Can you speak?" he asked. No answer. "What's your name?" Still silent. Tom scratched his head. "All right, you don't have to talk, but you need to rest." He brought her dry clothes and some soup. She didn't touch the soup, but she stared at the fire like she had never seen it before. That night, Tom couldn't sleep. He sat in his chair, watching her. She was different. Her skin looked soft but not human. Her eyes glowed even in the dark. And her body healed fast. The cuts on her arms were already fading. "Who are you?" he whispered. Morning came, gray and cold. The girl was still quiet. She walked around the house slowly, touching things. She looked at a toaster like it was magic. She stared at a clock for 5 minutes. Tom watched her. Finally, she spoke. Her voice was soft and low. "Don't let them find me." Tom stood up. "What did you say?" She looked at him. Her eyes were full of fear now. "Don't let them find me," she repeated. "Please." Who's looking for you?" Tom asked. She stepped back, shaking her head. "Bad people. I escaped. They want to take me back." "Back where? Are you from here?" She didn't answer. Tom realized something. She wasn't just different. She wasn't human. That day, Tom went to the town library. He searched news reports, missing persons, anything. But there was nothing about a girl like her. No name, no face, no clue. Back home, she was reading his old science books. She flipped pages fast, like she could understand everything in seconds. "Are you hungry?" he asked. She nodded. He gave her fruit. This time, she ate it slowly, like she was trying to learn how. "What's your name?" he asked again. She hesitated, then said one word. "Lena." Tom smiled. "Nice to meet you, Lena." She smiled back, just a little. That night, Tom was fixing an old radio. Lena sat near the fire, quiet. "Why were you in the trash?" he asked. "I was hiding," she said. "From who?" She looked out the window. "From those who made me." Tom's heart skipped a beat. "Made you?" She didn't explain. Instead, she pointed at the stars outside. "My home is not here," she whispered. "But I want to stay." Tom put his tools down. "You can stay," he said, "as long as you need." Lena smiled again, but it faded fast. She leaned closer and said, almost like a secret, "They will come, one day, and when they do, don't trust anyone." Tom sat back, staring at her. He didn't know what was happening, or what she really was, but he knew one thing. This girl was not normal. and his life was about to change forever. The storm had passed, but the silence that followed was heavier than the rain. Tom woke up before sunrise. The fire had gone out, but the room was still warm. He turned his head and saw Lena sitting near the window, her glowing eyes staring at the sky. She didn't blink. She didn't move. "Do you ever sleep?" he asked. Lena didn't answer. She just kept watching the stars. Tom sat up. "You're not from here, are you?" She finally turned to him. Her face was calm, but her eyes told another story. Fear, sadness, maybe something more. "I am not," she said quietly. Tom rubbed his face. He had guessed it, but hearing it made his stomach twist. "Then, where are you from?" Lena didn't speak for a moment. Then she pointed to the sky. "Far, beyond those stars. I don't know the name in your language." Tom stood and made coffee. He needed time to think. What had he brought into his home? An alien child? A danger to the whole town? Or someone who just wanted to live? "You don't have to tell me everything," he said gently. "But I need to know one thing. Are you dangerous?" Lena looked at him with deep, quiet eyes. "Only if someone tries to hurt me." Later that day, Tom drove into town to get supplies. As he walked through the grocery store, he noticed something strange. A black SUV parked across the street. Dark windows, engine running, but no one came out. When he returned home, he checked the front and back. Everything looked normal, except one thing. The mailbox was open, and inside was a small black card. No words, just a symbol, a circle with 3 lines through it. Tom showed it to Lena. The moment she saw it, her face went pale. "They found me," she whispered. "Who?" Tom asked. "Government." She shook her head. "Worse, people who don't follow rules. They want to use me for something terrible." Tom looked at the symbol again. "Why? What do they want from you?" Lena touched her chest. "It's not just me. It's what's inside." That night, Lena began to speak more. "I was born in a lab, on a ship between worlds. There were others like me, but different. I was the first that looked human." Tom listened carefully. "So they were trying to make people?" Lena nodded. "Mix human and alien genes. To make something new. Something that can live on any planet, fight any war." Tom swallowed hard. "And you escaped?" "Yes. I saw what they did to the others. I ran." "How did you get here?" "I don't know. I was inside a pod. I woke up in your trash." She looked away. "I thought you would throw me away too." Tom felt a knot in his chest. "I don't throw people away, Lena. Not even strange, glowing space girls." Lena smiled. A real smile, soft and innocent. But it didn't last. Later, as they ate dinner, Tom noticed something odd. A spoon floated above the table. Not high, just a few inches. Lena was staring at it, her hand not even raised. "Are you doing that?" he asked. Lena blinked and the spoon dropped. "Sorry. I didn't mean to." Tom leaned forward. "You have powers?" She hesitated. "They call it neural force. I don't fully understand it, but I can move things, hear thoughts sometimes, when emotions are strong." Tom leaned back, trying to hide his shock. "What else can you do?" "I can feel when someone lies," she said. "And I can feel when they are close." "Who?" "The ones hunting me." The next morning, Tom woke to strange noises. He grabbed his flashlight and moved quietly through the house. In the living room, Lena was standing in front of the mirror. Her eyes were glowing brighter than before. She was whispering something in a strange language. "Lena," he called gently. She turned suddenly, her eyes wide. "It's starting." "What is?" She touched her temple. "The connection. It's opening. They're trying to find me. Through the signal inside me." Tom grabbed his tool bag. "Can we block it? Destroy the signal?" Lena shook her head. "It's not that simple. It's inside my body. In my blood." Tom took a deep breath. "Then we need a plan. We can't just sit here and wait." Lena nodded. And then she said something that chilled Tom to the bone. "If they find me, they won't just take me." He frowned. "Then what?" They'll erase this town. No witnesses. Tom looked out the window. He had lived in this place all his life. Quiet, safe, simple. Now, because of one girl from the stars, everything had changed. He looked at her again. Fragile but powerful. Afraid but trying to be strong. Whatever she wasn't just from another world. She was another world. And it had come knocking on his door. Tom had seen strange things in his life. Storms that tore roofs off houses. Machines that caught fire for no reason. But nothing was stranger than what he saw that morning. Lena was floating, just a few inches above the ground. Her eyes were closed. Her body was glowing faint blue. Her hair lifting gently like it was underwater. She was asleep, but whispering in a language Tom didn't understand. A soft hum filled the room, almost like a song, but mechanical, digital, alien. Tom didn't move. He just watched. Then suddenly, snap. Lena fell back down with a soft thud. She opened her eyes, breathing fast. "Did you see that?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I saw everything," Tom said. "What's happening to you?" Lena sat up slowly, holding her head. "It's waking up." "What is?" She looked at him with those glowing purple eyes. "The thing they put inside me." They sat in the kitchen as the sun rose behind the trees. Tom placed a cup of warm tea in front of Lena. She didn't drink it. She stared at the steam like it held the answers she didn't have. "I think it's alive," she said finally. "Not like an animal. Not like a robot either. Something else." Tom frowned. "You mean, there's a living thing inside you?" "No," she said. "Not a creature. A system. A design. I don't know how to say it. But it's connected to something far away." Tom leaned in. "Is it a weapon?" Lena didn't answer right away. That scared him more than anything. "I was built to be many things," she said quietly. "Messenger. Prototype. Test subject. Weapon. Maybe all of it." Tom felt his stomach twist. "But you don't want to be that, do you?" "No," she whispered. "I just want to be free." Later that day, Tom took Lena to the old barn behind his house. He used to store metal and tools there, but now it would serve another purpose, a place to test what Lena could do. "I'm not sure this is a good idea," she said. "If they're coming, we need to know what you can do," Tom replied. Lena stood in the center of the barn, eyes closed. She breathed slowly. Tom stepped back. Within seconds, a wind stirred inside the barn, though no windows were open. Dust and hay flew up. Tools clinked on the shelves. Then the air bent, just slightly, like the space itself was changing. Tom felt a pressure in his ears. Lena opened her hand. A metal wrench floated up from the floor. Not fast, not wild, just slow, calm, controlled. Tom's jaw dropped. "You're not just special. You're dangerous." She dropped the wrench. "I don't want to be," she said. "But they made me this way." That night, Tom sat in his chair, staring into the fire. Lena sat nearby, reading a book like she had been on Earth her whole life. But Tom knew she didn't belong here. Not because she was bad, because someone else believed she was theirs. "Can they track you?" he asked suddenly. Lena nodded. "Yes, but only when I use my abilities. That's why I never used them before." Tom cursed under his breath. "Then they might already be close." She looked at him. "I'll leave if you want. I don't want you to be in danger." Tom stood up. "No, you stay. Whatever's coming, we'll face it together." At midnight, Lena woke up suddenly. Her hands were glowing. "Tom!" she shouted. He rushed in. "What is it?" "It's happening again. The thing inside. It's growing. Changing." Tom grabbed a flashlight. "We need help. Maybe someone from the outside. A scientist. Someone who can." "No!" Lena yelled. "No doctors. No labs. That's how it all started." She touched his arm, and for a moment, Tom saw something. Not a memory. A vision. An alien lab. Silver walls. Cold blue lights. Tubes. Machines. Screams. A row of beings like Lena, except they didn't survive. Then, darkness. Tom gasped and pulled back. What was that? He asked, shocked. I showed you my truth, Lena said, her voice shaking. I didn't mean to. You connected to my mind? She nodded. Tom sat down, breathing heavy. Lena, what are you? She didn't answer with words. She walked to the mirror, looked at herself and said, I am not just a girl. I am not just alien. I am something they couldn't finish, something they couldn't control. Outside, in the woods beyond the house, something beeped softly under the soil. A small device, black, round, blinking red, buried near the fence line. The signal had been sent, and someone was coming. The air felt heavier that morning. Not hot, not cold, just full, like something invisible was watching. Tom stood outside with a cup of coffee, staring at the tree line. Birds weren't singing. Wind wasn't blowing. Even the insects were quiet. Something was wrong. Inside, Lena sat on the floor, her hands pressed to her temples. Her eyes were glowing brighter than ever, too bright. They're close, she whispered. Very close. Tom walked in. How do you know? I feel them, she said. Not with my eyes, with something else. Something they built into me. Tom locked the doors. Then the windows. He pulled out an old shotgun from under the bed. Lena looked at it and tilted her head. That won't stop them, she said. I know, Tom replied. But it'll make me feel better. They moved into the basement. Dusty, cold, and dark. Tom had stored old radio parts and food supplies there for years. It now became a shelter. I wasn't ready for this, he said, sitting on a wooden crate. Aliens, hunters, glowing kids. I just fix broken machines. Lena sat across from him, hugging her knees. You fixed me, she said softly. Tom looked up. I didn't fix you. You're not broken. She smiled sadly. They made me believe I was number 12. The only one who lived. Tom blinked. What happened to the other 11? They didn't make it through the final phase, she said. I did. But that doesn't mean I survived. Suddenly, the basement light flickered. Then everything went dark. Lena stood up instantly. They're here. Tom grabbed a flashlight. Stay behind me. No, Lena said. If they came for me, I have to face them. Tom shook his head. You're not alone anymore. We do this together. Outside the house, 2 black vehicles appeared silently between the trees. They made no engine sound. Their tires didn't crush leaves. They simply arrived. 4 figures stepped out. All wore dark suits. No faces were visible under their black helmets. But they moved in perfect sync like machines. One of them raised a small device. A red dot blinked. Target locked. The figure spoke in a strange language. Robotic. Fast. Sharp. Subject alive. Signal strong. Extraction ready. They moved toward the house. Inside, Lena's nose started to bleed. She fell to her knees. Tom rushed to her. Lena, she looked up, terrified. They're trying to shut me down from a distance. They have my frequency. Can you block it? I don't know how, she cried. I was never taught. I was never supposed to escape. Tom's eyes scanned the room. Then he grabbed a metal toolbox and yanked out a roll of copper wire. What are you doing? Lena asked. Shielding the signal, he said. At least long enough for you to catch your breath. He wrapped the wire around her like a cage, grounding it to the floor. It wasn't perfect, but the bleeding stopped. Lena looked up at him, stunned. You're not a scientist, she said. No, Tom replied. But I know how to protect what matters. The front door creaked open. The first figure entered. Tom heard the footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, calculating. Lena's eyes turned completely violet. I can try something, she whispered. But I've never done it before. What is it? Shut them down. From the inside. Tom swallowed. What does that mean? It means I use what they put inside me, the tech, the code, against them. But I might lose control. Tom looked at her for a long second. Do it. The figures reached the basement door. One raised a hand. The wood exploded inward. And then everything froze. The lights, the air, time. The intruders stopped moving like statues. Lena's body lifted again, her hair rising with energy. Her skin now glowed fully blue, like moonlight. Her voice echoed, but not from her mouth. From everywhere. Shut down. The helmets of the intruders sparked. One fell to the floor, then the second, then all. Gone. Deactivated. Tom rushed to her side. Lena collapsed in his arms. Her skin was cold, but she was smiling. "You did it," he whispered. "You stopped them. For now," she said weakly. "But that was just the scouts." Tom stiffened. "Scouts? They never send their best first," she said. "They're testing, watching, measuring." She looked into his eyes. "They'll come again. With more." Tom held her close, his voice low. "Let them come." In the woods, far away, a satellite shifted position. A blinking blue light appeared on a distant screen. And somewhere in deep space, a response was sent. Phase 2. Initiate retrieval by force. The wind howled across the frozen plain as Jake, Leora, Kale, and Dr. Elias Wren reached the entrance of the buried moon base launch site, a forgotten underground facility hidden beneath the old mountains of Nevada. Wren typed an old access code into a keypad. The ground rumbled. Snow fell from nearby rocks as a massive steel door began to rise, revealing a long ramp leading into darkness. Kale stood quietly, holding his mother's hand. His eyes glowed dim white. Since the awakening, he had barely spoken. Jake watched him. "You okay, kid?" Kale looked up. "They're close. I can feel them, like a storm behind glass." Jake gave a short nod. "Let's stay ahead of it." They entered. The inside of the base smelled like rust and dust. Emergency lights blinked dimly. Old Earth tech lined the halls, most of it dead. They moved fast through the corridors. "This place was built during the First Galactic War," Wren explained. "A joint project between Earth and the Galactic Union. Weapons, portals, and data vaults were kept here." Jake ran his fingers across a broken console. "And now it's our last chance to slow them down." They reached a secured vault, a black circular door marked with glowing alien runes. Wren stopped. "Inside this room is the entrance to the Lunar Gate network. If the Velurks reach it, they'll move faster than light, and they'll hit Earth from 1,000 directions." Leora turned to Jake. "Then we must destroy it." Wren hesitated. Jake noticed. "Something you're not telling us?" Wren looked at the floor. "Yes, destroying the gate will trap us here. Forever." A long silence. Kale spoke. "It's okay. We're not meant to run anymore." Jake gave a small smile. "Kids braver than me. They prepared explosives. Old tech, but it would work." Leora and Kale waited in the side chamber. Jake and Wren worked in silence. As Jake placed the last charge, he noticed something. Wren was nervous, sweating, typing something on a small hidden console. Jake's soldier instinct screamed. He stepped closer. "What are you doing?" Wren didn't look at him. Just a verifying detonation timing. Jake grabbed his wrist, twisted the console around. The screen showed a live feed. A signal being transmitted. Kale's face. Jake's voice went hard. "You're tracking him." Wren didn't deny it. He slowly turned. "I didn't want to do this, but the Velurks, they offered peace. A deal. One life to save billions." Jake's eyes narrowed. "You gave them Kale's location?" Wren raised a trembling hand. "It's already done." Before Jake could react, the walls shook. An explosion above. The ceiling cracked. Red alarms blared. The Velurks were here. Jake slammed Wren against the wall. "You betrayed us." Wren's voice shook. "I didn't know they'd move this fast." "They don't negotiate," Jake growled. "They devour." Kale screamed from the other room. Jake ran. 2 Velurks drones had entered. Long arms, razor limbs, glowing red eyes. Leora stood between them and Kale, hands raised. Jake didn't think. He fired. Boom, boom. One drone dropped. The other lunged. But Kale raised his hand and froze it midair, eyes glowing blinding white. The drone cracked, then shattered into dust. Jake pulled them both back. "We're leaving. Now." Ren followed, guilt written all over his face. "Let me fix it. I can close the gates manually." Jake didn't trust him, but time was gone. The group raced toward the upper level. Sirens screamed. Walls flickered with lights. Footsteps echoed, not human. They reached the control chamber. A large console hovered in the center. Alien keys pulsed. Kale touched it. "I can shut the gate, but it will burn my body." Leora cried out. "No, you're just a child." Kale looked at her. "I was born for this, mother." Jake stepped forward. "No, there has to be another way." Ren looked up. "There is." Everyone turned. "I can transfer his code into the system without burning him out. But I have to stay behind. Someone has to guide the data." Leora shook her head. "Why should we trust you now?" Ren looked ashamed. "Because I forgot who we are. But I remember now." He turned to Kale. "Let me do this, kid. Let me give you back your future." Kale nodded once, silently. Jake stared hard at Ren, then tossed him his old dog tags. "Don't screw this up again." Ren smiled faintly. "I won't." The system whirred to life. Kale placed his hands on the panel. Ren placed his own beside them. The room glowed. The gate began to collapse in on itself, twisting, flickering. The Velarks entered the chamber. Jake stepped between them and Kale. He fired again and again, each shot slowing them but not stopping them. Leora joined him, her eyes glowing with blue light, hands shooting waves of energy. One Velarks reached for Kale, just as the gate finished its collapse. Boom! The entire base shook. Light swallowed everything. Silence. Dust. Jake woke first, half buried in rubble. He sat up. Leora was beside him, bleeding but alive. Kale lay still. Jake crawled to him. Kale opened one eye. "Did we win?" he whispered. Jake laughed through tears. "Yeah, kid. We did." He looked around. Ren was gone. Nothing left but his dog tags lying on the console. The rain had returned, but this time it wasn't violent. Just soft, steady drops falling through the trees, washing over the quiet world below. Tom and Lena sat inside a wooden cabin, deep in the mountains. The walls creaked with the wind. An old lantern flickered on the table. The outside world had vanished. No roads, no voices, no signals. They were alone, safe for now. But silence has its own dangers, because silence lets the truth rise. And some truths are harder than war. Lena sat by the window, her knees pulled to her chest, her head resting on the cold glass. Her glowing eyes had dimmed. Her silver hair hung low over her face. Tom stood behind her, watching. "You've been quiet all day," he said. "I'm thinking," she whispered. "About the reclaimer?" "No," she said. "About you." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Me?" Lena turned her head slightly, just enough to meet his eyes. "You changed me." Tom sat down across from her. "How?" "I was made to run, made to survive. Never trust, never feel, just obey and adapt. But you didn't treat me like a thing. You gave me a coat, a name, a home. You looked at me like I was a person." "You are a person," Tom said. Lena smiled softly. "That's what scares me." That night, the fire crackled gently. They sat across from each other on the cabin floor, wrapped in old blankets, sharing the last of the canned food. Tom told stories about his childhood, his time in the scrapyard, how he once tried to build a flying machine that only flew for 3 seconds before crashing into a chicken coop. Lena laughed. Not politely, not artificially. A real warm, bright laugh. Tom stared at her, surprised. "That's the first time I've heard you laugh." Lena looked down. "That's the first time I felt like laughing." Then her voice dropped to a whisper. "Tom, can I tell you something?" He nodded. "Always." She looked straight into his eyes. No smile now, just raw, trembling truth. "I think I'm in love with you." The fire cracked louder. Tom froze. Lena looked away, ashamed. "I know I'm not like you. Not from your world." Not from your species. Maybe I don't even understand what love really is. But when I think of safety, I see you. When I think of hope, it's your voice I hear. When I imagine life, real life, you're in it. Tom didn't know what to say. He stood up, walked to the window. The rain had stopped. He turned back, voice calm. Lena, I care about you. So much. You're brave, kind, smarter than anyone I've ever met. You make me want to fight when I would have just given up. She looked up at him. But? She asked. But you're still growing, he said gently. Still discovering who you are. Maybe this thing you're feeling, it's love. Or maybe it's the first time someone's made you feel human. Lena nodded slowly. Maybe. I don't know what I am yet. Tom smiled. And that's okay. You don't have to know today. They sat in silence again. This time it was peaceful. No fear. No lies. Just quiet truth between two souls not meant to meet, but grateful they did. Suddenly, Lena flinched. Her hands began to glow, faint but fast. Something's wrong, she said. What is it? She closed her eyes, focused. I feel a shift, like someone opened a door. Not near us, but far away, in space. Tom stood up, heart pounding. What kind of door? A gateway, the kind only I can unlock. Is it open now? No, she said, but it's close. Outside, a satellite passed quietly across the sky. Far above Earth, beyond normal reach, something floated in orbit. A black station, alien design, dark and silent. Until now, powered on. A blue circle lit up at its center. And inside it, a pulse moved. A signal, not calling her home, but pulling her back. Inside the cabin, Lena gasped and clutched her chest. Tom caught her before she collapsed. Lena, she looked up, eyes wild. They're using the signal. They're trying to override my thoughts. Tom held her face. Fight it. Stay with me. She gritted her teeth. I'm trying, but it's strong. It knows what I care about. She looked at him again. It's using you. Tom stood, rage in his voice now. Then let them hear me. He walked to the middle of the room and shouted at the sky. She's not yours anymore. You can't control what you don't understand. Then he turned to her. And you're not a weapon. You're not a key. You're you. Lena. My Lena. Tears rolled down her cheeks. And for the first time, she didn't glow. She just cried, like a human. Somewhere, deep in the void, the signal failed. Just for a moment. But enough. The satellite powered down. The connection broke. And for the first time in days, the stars blinked peacefully. The world didn't end. It simply became quiet. For the first time in days, Jake Carter heard nothing. No sirens, no drones, no screams in the sky. Only wind moving gently through the trees and the soft rhythm of breath. He sat on a hillside, overlooking the ruined crater where it had all happened. His hands were scraped, his clothes burned, but his heart, somehow, felt calm. Behind him, Leora stood with her arm around Cale, who now looked more like a boy than a myth. No glow in his eyes, no fire in his chest, just a child. Amazing how quiet the end of a war can be, Jake muttered. Leora sat beside him. It wasn't the end. It was a beginning. For all of us. Jake glanced at Cale. He's all right? Leora nodded. We think so. His powers are sleeping now. Like they know there's no war to fight anymore. Jake let out a breath. Good. He deserves that. Cale walked over slowly, sat beside Jake, and handed him something. Jake looked down. It was Ren's dog tags. Cale said softly, he didn't die in fear. He died helping me stay human. Jake looked at the metal tag, thumbed over the scratched letters. Then he did more than most men ever get the chance to. 3 days later, the world finally noticed. Governments tried to explain the explosion, the light in the sky, the strange storm over Nevada. Some called it a test, others a hoax. But those who were there, they remembered. The quiet heroes, the invisible war, the boy who glowed like a star. Jake, Leora, and Cale returned to Jake's cabin. It had survived barely. The roof was torn and the walls were scorched, but it still stood. So did they. Jake rebuilt it, slower this time, not for survival but for home. Leora planted strange glowing flowers near the door, seeds from her lost world. And Cale? He found joy in the smallest things. Raindrops, books, a dog that wandered into the forest and never left. He laughed often now. He called Jake Uncle, not because he had to, but because it felt right. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the trees golden, Jake found Cale sitting alone, staring at the stars. "You okay, kid?" Cale nodded. "I've been listening." Jake sat beside him. "To what?" Cale pointed upward. "The stars. They're talking again. But not screaming. Not afraid." Jake smiled. "Good. Let 'em talk." There was a pause. Then Cale asked, "Will they come back someday? The bad ones?" Jake was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Maybe. Maybe not. But if they do, they'll find a world that's not alone anymore." Cale looked at him. "Because of me?" Jake nodded. "Because of you, and your mother, and Ren, and a stubborn old man who didn't know when to quit." Cale laughed. Then his face grew serious. "Can I tell you a secret?" "Always." "I saw something when I opened the light inside me. I saw the galaxy, broken, scared. But I also saw hope. Tiny lights on other worlds. Just like me. Just waiting to be found." Jake stared at him. "And you want to find them, don't you?" Cale smiled. "Someday. Not now. I still have things to learn here." Jake nodded slowly. "Well then, I guess I better teach you how to fix that roof." Cale grinned. "Deal." Later that night, Leora sat on the porch watching the stars. Jake brought her earth tea, which she still found strange, but warm. "He'll be okay," she said. Jake sat beside her. "He's more than okay. He's becoming." Leora looked at Jake. "You're part of that. He sees you as his anchor." Jake chuckled. "I used to be a weapon. Now I'm a tree." She smiled. "A good tree." They sat in silence a while longer. Then Leora said, "One day, the stars will call again. He will answer." Jake nodded. "I know. And when he does, he won't go alone." Sometime later, a new dawn. Cale stood in a field, wind in his hair, light in his hands. Calm, quiet, but awake. A ship hovered above, sleek and silent. Not a warship, but a vessel of peace. Built from the parts of the past, guided by minds from two worlds. Cale turned to Jake. "You coming?" Jake grabbed his old coat, now patched and dusty. "Wouldn't miss it." They stepped onto the ship. Leora joined them, placing a glowing flower into a glass case on the wall. A memory of the old world. The ship rose, higher, beyond the trees, beyond the clouds, toward the stars, toward the future. Cale's voice echoes across the galaxy. Soft, clear, full of promise. "We thought we were alone. We thought fear was stronger than hope. But we were wrong. There are hands reaching in the dark. And now we reach back." Screen fades to black. Words appear. HFY. The beginning.